He spent millions searching for a cure to his daughter's silence, but one voice, one song, would change everything. You're watching Black Inside USA. Don't forget to subscribe for more real-life emotional stories that touch the heart. In a world where stories speak louder than words, this is Black Inside USA. Real emotions, real people, real change. The sky over New York glowed with the fading warmth of sunset, streaks of gold and amber reflecting off the glass towers that reached toward heaven. In one of those towers, behind tall windows and marble floors, lived Nathan Cole, a man who had everything except peace. Nathan was a self-made millionaire, the kind of man people admired but never approached. His company built luxury hotels, his name appeared in magazines, and yet, every evening when he returned to his penthouse, silence greeted him, a silence so heavy it almost echoed. In the heart of that silence sat his daughter, Lily, a fragile, golden-haired child of 7. She hadn't spoken a single word since the day her mother passed away 3 years ago. Doctors said it was trauma. Therapists said it was emotional withdrawal, but no one, not even Nathan, could reach her. She would sit by the window for hours, gazing out at the skyline, her teddy bear clutched tightly in her arms, as if she was waiting for someone who would never return. Nathan had done everything money could do, hired the best specialists, speech therapists and caretakers. But his daughter remained locked in her silence. That was, until the day Maya arrived. Maya was different. A warm, soft-spoken woman in her early 30s with deep brown skin and eyes that carried kindness instead of judgment. She didn't dress fancy, she didn't try to impress Nathan with her resume. When she first walked into that apartment, she simply smiled at Lily, knelt beside her, and whispered, "You don't have to talk to me. I'll just be here, until you want me to listen." Nathan had almost dismissed her that day. He didn't believe anyone could reach his daughter. But something in Maya's quiet confidence stopped him. It wasn't her words, it was her heart. And over the weeks that followed, something began to change inside that house. For the first time, Nathan would hear faint sounds of laughter, not Lily's, but Maya's, soft, musical, echoing from the living room. Sometimes, he would pass by and see Lily sitting near Maya, drawing pictures, building tiny towers of blocks. Maya never pushed her to speak, she simply filled the air with warmth. She would hum songs, old gospel tunes and lullabies, the kind that carried peace in every note. Nathan noticed Lily's shoulders relax when Maya sang. He noticed her eyes following Maya wherever she moved. He noticed hope sneaking back into the home he thought was lost. But Nathan, the businessman that he was, still didn't believe in miracles. He thought it was only comfort, nothing more. He didn't know that destiny had already begun to write a new story, one that money couldn't buy. It was a Friday evening, one of those nights when the city glowed brighter than the stars. Nathan had just wrapped up a board meeting that left him drained. The voices of investors and numbers faded in his mind as he sat in the back seat of his sleek black car, staring out at the lights racing past. He told his driver to head home early. Something, maybe exhaustion, maybe instinct, made him want to go home sooner than usual. When the elevator doors opened on the 45th floor, a hush greeted him as always. But this time, there was something different in the air, something soft, something warm. He paused. From the hallway, faintly, came the sound of music. Nathan frowned at first. No one played music in this house. Not since his White's piano went silent 3 years ago. Yet now, through the golden light spilling from the living room, he could hear a gentle melody. It was a voice, low, rich, full of soul. And beneath it, another sound, lighter, higher, trembling like a bird learning to fly. He took a slow step forward. His briefcase slipped from his hand and landed on the carpet with a dull thud. He didn't even notice. Inside the living room, Maya sat on the floor beside the couch, her legs crossed, her hands clapping softly to a rhythm only she seemed to know. And beside her, on a pile of colorful pillows, sat Lily. Her little hands were moving too, mimicking Maya's rhythm. Her lips were moving. Nathan's heart stopped. "You are my sunshine," Maya sang softly. "My only sunshine." And then, in the smallest, most fragile whisper, Lily joined in. "You make me happy." Her voice cracked, uncertain, but real. Tears filled Nathan's eyes instantly. He stood frozen in the doorway, unable to breathe, afraid to move, afraid that one sound from him might break the spell. Maya noticed him but didn't stop. She looked up briefly, saw the disbelief on his face, and smiled faintly, a knowing, gentle smile, then turned back to Lily and kept singing. The little girl's voice grew stronger with every word, every breath. It was as if she had been waiting for this song her entire life, waiting for someone to make her feel safe enough to be heard. When the song ended, Lily giggled. A pure, innocent sound Nathan hadn't heard in years. She turned to Maya and said, softly. Again, that one word broke him. Nathan's legs gave way, and he sank onto the couch, covering his face as silent tears streamed down. He had spent millions trying to heal his daughter, but this woman, this nanny, had done what no doctor, no specialist, no amount of money could ever do. He looked up, voice trembling. How did you do that? Maya smiled gently, brushing a lock of hair from Lily's face. I didn't, she said softly. She did, I just helped her remember that her heart still knows how to sing. Nathan couldn't speak, his heart ached, not from sadness, but from something new, something like gratitude. He watched as Lily leaned her head on Maya's shoulder, humming quietly, her small fingers holding onto Maya's sleeve as if she had found something she'd lost long ago. That night, Nathan couldn't sleep. He walked through the dark apartment, stopping at Lily's door. Inside, Maya was sitting by her bed, reading softly from a children's book. Lily was already asleep, her face peaceful, a faint smile lingering there. For the first time in years, the house didn't feel empty. It felt alive. Nathan closed the door quietly and whispered. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the tall windows, painting gold lines across the marble floor. Nathan stood by the counter, coffee untouched in his hand, listening. No crying, no silence either, just the faint sound of humming coming from Lily's room, that same melody, You Are My Sunshine. He smiled without realizing it. For years he had started his mornings with business calls in silence. Now, he stood still, letting the sound of a child's voice fill the space his heart had forgotten. Maya appeared in the doorway, holding a tray of breakfast for Lily. Her movements were quiet, graceful, as if she didn't want to disturb the peace that had finally found its way into this home. Good morning, Mr. Cole, she said gently. Nathan turned, still half lost in thought. Morning, he replied. You can call me Nathan. She hesitated, surprised. I'll try, she said with a smile. He nodded toward the hallway. I heard her singing again. Maya's face softened. She's been practicing since she woke up. She wants to sing for you one day. Those words struck deeper than he expected. For you. Nathan looked away, blinking back that sting in his eyes. That would mean everything, he murmured. That evening, he asked Maya to stay for dinner. She refused at first, said it wasn't professional, but Lily insisted, tugging at her hand with that new, fragile confidence. So, for the first time in years, 3 plates were set at the long dining table. Nathan watched as Maya carefully cut Lily's food, teaching her to hold the fork properly, laughing when she made a mess. The laughter filled the penthouse like light spilling into an old, forgotten room. You're good with her, Nathan said quietly. She just needs someone to listen, Maya replied. Most children do, and you seem to listen better than anyone I've met. She looked up, eyes meeting his. There was no arrogance in his voice, only sincerity, the kind that comes from a man beginning to rediscover his own humanity. Where did you learn to sing like that? He asked. Maya smiled, her gaze distant for a moment. My mother was a teacher at a small church in Georgia. She said music heals the soul before the mind understands what's happening. Nathan nodded slowly. Seems she was right. For a while, they ate in comfortable silence, broken only by Lily's happy chatter. Small words, short sentences, but words nonetheless. Every syllable sounded like a miracle. After dinner, Maya helped Lily into her pajamas. Nathan waited in the hallway, listening to the bedtime song, a quiet lullaby that spoke of courage and light. When Maya stepped out, she found him leaning against the wall, smiling. You're doing more for her than anyone ever has, he said. I don't even know how to thank you. You already are, Maya replied. By being here. Nathan paused. He realized she was right. For too long he had been absent, physically present but emotionally gone, hiding behind meetings and screens. Now he was learning how to be here. Later that night, he sat alone by the window, looking out at the city. His phone buzzed with messages from work, deals, deadlines, decisions, yet none of them seemed as important anymore. He looked toward the hallway, where feigned laughter drifted from Lily's room, and whispered to himself. Maybe this is what I was missing all along. He took a deep breath, feeling something he hadn't felt in years, peace. And deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. The days that followed moved differently inside the Cole penthouse. Gone was the empty silence that used to linger like dust. Now there were footsteps, laughter, music, small things that carried life. Every morning, Lily waited by the door for Maya to arrive. She would run to her with open arms, shouting the word that once seemed impossible. Maya. Nathan often stood at a distance, watching. Each time he heard his daughter's voice, his heart softened a little more. He began canceling meetings, coming home earlier, even learning the songs Maya taught Lily. The house, once cold and still, had become a home again. One Saturday, Nathan surprised them both. He appeared in the living room holding a dusty guitar case. "I found this in storage," he said. "It was my wife's. She used to play for Lily before bedtime." Maya opened the case carefully, brushing the dust from the wood. "It's beautiful," she whispered. Nathan sat down, tuning the strings awkwardly. His fingers trembled as he strummed a soft chord. The sound filled the room, rough and perfect but warm. Lily clapped, giggling. "Daddy, play." Maya smiled, joining in with a gentle hum. And just like that, a family that had been broken by silence began to make music together again. That evening, after Lily went to bed, Maya found Nathan on the balcony, staring at the skyline. The city shimmered below them, but his eyes seemed far away. "You've changed," she said quietly. He gave a small laugh. "You make it sound like that's a bad thing." "No," she replied, "it's a good thing. You're lighter now." Nathan turned to her. "For a long time, I thought success meant control, having power, order, answers. But watching you with her, I realized something. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is just care." Maya's gaze dropped to the floor. "That's all any of us really want. To be cared for." There was something in her voice, a quiet sadness. Nathan noticed it, the way her shoulders sank when she thought no one was looking. "Maya," he said softly, "you help everyone else heal. Who helps you?" She hesitated. Then, almost reluctantly, she spoke. "I grew up taking care of everyone. My mama got sick when I was 16, and I raised my 2 younger brothers. When she passed, I promised I'd never stop helping people. Sometimes that means forgetting myself." Nathan looked at her for a long moment. "You deserve someone to look after you too." The words lingered in the night air, gentle and true. Maya didn't answer. She just smiled faintly and looked back at the city lights. That night, Nathan couldn't sleep. He walked past Lily's door and saw her sleeping peacefully, her teddy bear under one arm. Then he paused by Maya's room, the small guest room at the end of the hall. Through the half-open door, he could see her kneeling by the bed, whispering a quiet prayer. He didn't interrupt. He simply stood there, realizing how grace could live quietly in a person without them ever knowing how much light they carried. He returned to his own room and wrote something in his planner, not a business note, but 3 simple words. "Be present, always." Over the next few weeks, the bond between them deepened. Nathan began helping Lily with school projects. Maya taught them to cook simple meals together. Their laughter could be heard even in the elevator lobby. Neighbors began to notice the change. The man who once looked untouchable now smiled easily, carried his daughter on his shoulders, and said good morning to strangers. The healing was spreading. One afternoon, Nathan got an unexpected call, a foundation offering to partner with his company on a children's therapy program. When he read the proposal, he realized they wanted to create spaces that combined music and care, the same way Maya had reached Lily. That night, he told Maya about it. "I want you to help lead this project," he said. "You understand children better than anyone I've met." Her eyes widened. Mr. Cole, Nathan, he corrected with a smile. "And yes, you changed my daughter's life. You can change others too." Maya's voice trembled. "Thank you, I don't know what to say." "Say you'll do it," she nodded, tears shining in her eyes. "I will." One morning, Maya arrived later than usual. Her smile was there, but it looked a little tired. Nathan noticed immediately. "Everything all right?" he asked. "Just a little family matter back home," she replied. "My brother's school needs help. They might have to close one of the programs for special needs kids." Nathan frowned. "That's the kind of program that saved Lily." Maya nodded. "Exactly. But they don't have the funding to keep the music therapy classes running." He leaned back, thinking, "Maybe I can help, not as a businessman, as a father who owes you more than I can say." She looked at him, surprised. "You don't have to. I want ya," he interrupted gently. "If one song could bring my daughter's voice back, then maybe more songs can help other children too." For a long moment, she just stared at him. Then, softly, she said, "You really have changed, Nathan." "Maybe," he replied, smiling. or maybe I just started listening. A few days later, Nathan flew with Maya and Lily to Georgia to visit the school. It was small, built of red brick and surrounded by fields of wildflowers. Inside, children were learning through rhythm and play, many of them shy or non-verbal, like Lily once was. When Lily saw a boy sitting alone with a drum in his lap, she walked up, sat beside him, and began to hum. The boy hesitated, then tapped the drum once, twice, until they were making music together. Nathan felt his throat tighten. He turned to Maya. "That's her gift," he whispered. Maya smiled. She learned it from love. That evening, after everyone left, they walked through the empty school halls. The air smelled of chalk and sunlight. Nathan stopped near the music room, where a single piano waited in the corner. "Play something," he said. Maya shook her head. "It's been years. Please." She sat down, pressed a tentative key, and the sound filled the room, simple, trembling, beautiful. Nathan watched her, realizing that peace looked a lot like this, a woman who gave light to others without asking for anything in return. When the song ended, silence hung between them, comfortable, meaningful. "You've given my daughter her voice," he said quietly, "and maybe you gave me mine too." Maya lowered her gaze. "Nathan, when I came here, I only wanted to help a little girl. I didn't expect," she hesitated, "to find a family." He took a slow breath. "Then stay, not as her nanny, but as someone we both need." Her eyes shimmered with tears. "Are you sure? More than I've ever been." Later that night, Lily came running into the room, waving a drawing. It showed 3 figures, 2 tall, 1 small, standing under a bright sun, holding hands. Across the top, written in uneven letters, were 3 words that made Nathan's heart ache with joy. "My family sings." Maya laughed through her tears. Nathan knelt, gathering them both in his arms as the golden light of evening poured through the windows. The silence that had once haunted their home was gone. In its place lived music, laughter, and a love that asked for nothing but to be shared. Thanks for watching Black Inside USA. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every story deserves to be heard.